Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for our e-Gurukula sessions. And today is Friday. We have a Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita study. So the pure devotees of the Lord, they demonstrate how to perform devotional service. So Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and demonstrated how to live Bhagavad Gita. Right, so that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more merciful. Namo Mahavadanyaya. We pray na? He is a more magnanimous, more merciful, very kind. Because Krishna came and he told, you do this, you don't do this and all, but how to do that? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a devotee, the Lord in the incarnation of a devotee. And then he demonstrated how to do. But then down the line, a lot of changes happened, and now the modern era is coming. The world is getting westernized, and a lot of things are being looks like Vedic things or teachings of scripture looks like outdated and all. But Srila Prabhupada, who is a dash in the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is Srila Prabhupada? In the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is known as? Who is known as?
Commander-in-Chief.
Yes, very good. Srila Prabhupada is Commander-in-Chief, Senapati Bhakta. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his army, and Srila Prabhupada is a Commander-in-Chief. He's a Senapati Bhakta. And that's what he again revolutionized. What Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrated and gave us so simple things, which has got lost in the due time. And then the many westernization happened and all, but the movement continued through the chain of proper disciplic succession, and Srila Prabhupada made it worldwide. So that's why it's all glories to Srila Prabhupada to make us so amazing for all of us to practice even now also, and for the time to come also. So let us dive into the wonderful life of Srila Prabhupada and learn something good things, so that we can also become better devotee and better servant. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshcha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So you all are able to see the screen? Is that Vedabhai screen, is it visible?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. So last time we stopped how Srila Prabhupada established the League of, what is that organization? First attempt of Srila Prabhupada. As Abhay coming to Jhansi and got a...
League of Devotees.
The League of Devotees. He got some kind of a place and then he requested the Radha Lal, what is his name? Radhe Lal Mullik. So along with that, and then Prabhupada very brilliantly told, the name is Radha. What is that name was of that place? Radha's, anyone remember? Radha Bhai, no. What is that building name was? Prabhupada very brilliantly.
Prabhuji, Radha Memorial.
Radha Memorial, yeah, good. Yeah. So here Prabhupada says, why couldn't the landlord give him the building? Abhay asked. They were simply going to waste. If it were actually to be memorial to Radha, yeah, this is Radha Memorial. It should be used in Krishna's service, since Krishna is Radha's worshipable Lord. Wow. So brilliant. So this is a beauty, as we saw last time, right? How Prabhupada saw everything in connection with the Lord. Everything is energy of the Lord. So energy coming from the energetic person. So it should be used in the service of that energetic person, right? So that's what so brilliantly Prabhupada is planning and thing. That's what we saw, how we saw the plot, where will be what and all. Anyone remember which all the planning he made by seeing that place? Prabhupada was so amazing. Just he saw the place. Other people were thinking, okay, it is just for a kirtan and pravachan, that's all. But Prabhupada had a bigger plan. What all things he saw there?
Prabhuji was like they should print back to Godhead magazines.
Yeah, there should be some hall for keeping printing praise. Yeah, anything more?
Prabhuji have to preach all around the world. It's like send the devotees.
Yeah, send the devotees from here to go all over the world. Yeah. And then some
Prabhuji
room.
must make like a Prabhuji must like a place where like devotees can stay.
Yeah, correct. Some place where brahmacharis and sannyasis of the temple they can stay. Some place for the guest, some place for the kitchen, and some hall, one hall for the, there will be the deity of Lord Chaitanya. And another hall for printing praise, whatnot Prabhupada was envisioning. So let's read now further how it goes. I think this also we completed, or I think so from here we have to start. I think League of Devotees, he was not simply, correct. This is over, yeah, I think this was February 4, he paid the deposit of 50 rupees and filed his application. He returned to Memorandum of Association. Then he then took a train to Lucknow on February 4 and paid the deposit of 50 rupees and filed his application. He returned to Jhansi. So to get it that officialized, the documentation work, Prabhupada. Now let's read. In his room in the Radha Memorial, Abhay would rise daily at 4 a.m. How many devotees were there? Only one alone. And of course, his another friend was staying. That's all. It is not like a kind of a temple or kind of things. But you see how Abhay, Srila Prabhupada followed the morning program. Abhay would rise daily at 4 a.m. and arouse his young neighbor, Prabhakar Mishra. From 4 to 5, Abhay would write. At 5, he would walk in the Antiyatal area. At 5:30, bathe and then chant Hare Krishna on his beads until 7. When he would hold a class on the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, although Prabhakar Mishra was actually the only listener. It's a morning program, uncompromised, whether one people or no people. So getting up in the morning, doing chanting and having a class, discussing on Srimad Bhagavatam, very important. At 8, he would return to his literary work, typing until after 10. Then he would begin to prepare a meal. In the afternoon, he would often go around Jhansi, meeting people and preaching. looking for anyone willing to take part in the League of Devotees. In the early morning, he would write until 7. Early evening, he would write until 7. When he would prepare for the kirtan and lecture, he would hold at one of the various places in the city, depending on where he was invited. So who was a cook for Abhay? Who was doing cooking for Abhay? For Prabhupada, who was cooking there? Yes, you heard na just now. Who was cooking for Srila Prabhupada? And who was giving the class? Who was going for printing the Back to Godhead magazine? Yeah? Sorry?
Was it Prabhupada?
Yeah, just now we read, na? Who was doing cooking for Prabhupada? Who was writing, getting up morning and doing writing work? Who was going out for meeting the people?
Prabhupada. Was it Prabhupada only?
Who was giving the class there? Who was the one man? It's not that Prabhupada was kind of looking for the, oh, I am alone, how can I do? No. Right. If the people come, that's great. If not, I will continue. That was Prabhupada's spirit, not only after going to America also, but right from the beginning. And this is happening in 1952. Prabhupada is 56-year-old. Right. And not only now he's got the time to do, but before also he was looking for the opportunity, right? So this is a Prabhupada spirit, all alone. Whether the people are there to, or whether his spiritual master is there to check him, hey, have you got up or not? Are you chanting or not? Are you going or not? No, all alone. So this is so amazing. Doing everything. Now you see further. Although Abhay had no money for continuing Back to Godhead, a well-established part of his preaching was to write essays, regardless of whether they were to be immediately published or not. He wrote a long essay, some 24,000 words, entitled Message of Godhead. And that's what the book we have today, Srila Prabhupada's book, Message of Godhead. Small book is there. He also, I have to just confirm whether it is the same essay, what is printed as a book, or whether, but there is a book on this name. He also wrote a series of chapters propounding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, especially as they applied to the world problems, and Science of Devotion, a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sorry, so that's what Prabhupada's service was given, right? Order was given by his spiritual master. Preach in English language and print books. And that's what Prabhupada was making the things relevant for the modern world. That's why you are able to see. He also wrote a series of chapters on the teachings of Gita, Bhagavad Gita, which can be applied to the world problems. Right? People are looking for a solution, right? So you understand the solution through the pages of Bhagavad Gita. Just follow Lord. Just what Lord is telling, try to understand and follow. Everything will be solved. That's what we find in Bhagavad Gita when we read. It's so beautiful. So on May 16, 1953, Abhay held a grand opening celebration for the League of Devotees with continuous readings, kirtan, and prasadam distribution from early morning until night. The building were decorated with leaves, flowers, and many earthen water pots. In the evening, when attendance was the greatest, Abhay lectured from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita on Rajaguhya Yoga. Prabhakar Mishra conducted a fire sacrifice, and several Brahmanas chanted mantras from Brahma Samhita. Guests received a 16-page prospectus containing Abhay's essay on the need for the League and an excerpt from the chapter explaining its goals. It was signed Om Tat Sat. Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta, founder and secretary. So Prabhupada's, so much he is now struggling, and then got the place, and then they started working. And over the time, there was inauguration. So what was the date? 16th of May, 1953. 52, Prabhupada came to Jhansi. And then over the less than a year, things got established. The opening was pleasant, auspicious event for the people of Jhansi, and hundreds gathered in the evening for Abhay's lecture. Dr. Sharma, a charter member of the League and editor of the Jhansi Daily newspaper, had already publicized the event and was planning to write up for the following day. The Gaudiya Patrika also reported on the opening. On what is written here below, it is mentioned. The editor of the local Theosophical Society, Sri Lakshminarayan Rajpali, was also present. Although he holds different philosophical opinions from Bhaktivedanta Prabhu, he is very sympathetic with this movement. In the assembly, there were many people worth mentioning. The inauguration and establishing of deities will be done soon. The assembly will request Rajpati Sri Sri K.M. Munshi to perform the inauguration ceremony. Their center has been registered by the Society's Registration Act. Sri Bharati Bhavan is the name of the League's building, in which they have a lecture hall and a temple that resembles a palace. The assembly has many activities at the center, and there are also facilities for members to live there. So this has been published in the newspapers. Abhay felt confident that Bharati Bhavan would now be established and recognized as the home. Sorry, today was a quite Sankranti day, very hectic, exhausted. Yeah, and recognized as the home of the League of Devotees. He was happy to see that the opening day was not merely his private affair, but an event celebrated by the most important citizens of Jhansi. So what was there in the opening of the place? How the opening was done? What all activities were conducted? Remembered? Very important. Yeah, what all activities were conducted when the League of Devotees, the hall, the place was getting inaugurated? Yes, who remember? Yeah, no one. What all things happened that day, the inauguration day? Many people came. And what was going on? This thing happened, this thing happened. Huh? Yeah, you can say. Yeah.
Prabhupada asking about this celebration day,
Yeah, that's the opening day celebration day. Yeah.
Prabhupada during that day, it's like there has been a big yagna, Prabhuji, and like there was prasad distribution from early morning to night, and the temple was decorated with leaves, and water pots, and Prabhupada was giving few pamphlets, and he was giving lectures also.
Yeah. One more important thing missed out. Yeah, almost all things you said. Thank you. Yeah, yes, Divishpra, anything you remember missed out? Very important. That's what it should happen. There was kirtan going on. You remember?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. All of you also remember, Jashit bro? Kirtan was happening.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So this is very important. Continuous readings, kirtana, and prasad distribution. So doing kirtan and reading of the scriptures and the prayers and discussing on the Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, that is a real auspiciousness. That is a way how we can really bring out the real celebration. And at the end, prasad distribution, right? The food which is offered to the Lord first. So this is a nice, this is how ideally the celebration. Our society also, in our ISKCON society, many devotees, when they open the house or when they bring the car, when they purchase a new car or a vehicle or some land or a property or things, they invite the devotees, right? So that they can come do the kirtans and do some nice short presentation on the Bhagavatam or so, and then distribution of prasad, so that the Lord is invited. Lord is presented. The real yajna for Kali Yuga is the chanting of the holy names. So in Vrindavan also, when the ISKCON temple was getting opened, right, when Prabhupada's time, I think it was 1975 or around that. So many, the priests were called to chant yajnas and all. So Prabhupada said Kirtan should go on constantly. For us, doing Kirtan itself is sufficient. We don't need any kind of yajnas or things and all. Then why yajnas are being called? Why the priests were called to do yajnas? And here also we read some brahmanas and some yajnas was happening.
But so it can like attract people, means like these people are doing like some yajna.
Yeah. Because people, they don't know the importance of holy name. But as a devotee, we know. Holy name is a yoga dharma. Doing Sankirtan is a yoga dharma for Kali Yuga, right? So surely where the Kirtan is happening, congregational chanting of the holy name is taking place, that itself is all sufficient. But people will not understand. They will think, hey, it's not done properly. So for the sake of the people, it was being done so that people find it is a bit authentic. So, and what is a proof? When Srila Prabhupada's sannyas ceremony was happening, I don't know whether in Lilamrita this part it comes or not, but one devotee was mentioning. So when Prabhupada's sannyas ceremony was happening in Vrindavan, I think so. So there also some priests and all, they were chanting mantras. But there was Prabhupada's god brother. His name is Krishna Das Kavi. Krishna, I missed out some Krishna or some name is there. So, and he was doing chanting of Kirtan there, sitting there, and he was chanting alone. He was a very sweet singer also. And some priests were doing a yajna, that sound was coming aloud. Then Prabhupada, he indicated to him, chant loudly. His god brother. And then he started chanting loudly. Then sound went very big. Then this priest and all, they told, hey, no, why you're so loudly you're speaking? We're chanting mantras. Say slowly. That yajna is happening for Prabhupada's sannyas ceremony. And again, when the Kirtan volume got reduced, Prabhupada again told, hey, chant loudly, no problem. Chant. So the devotees were telling how Prabhupada had a full faith on the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. That is being done, everything will follow. Right? And what else, where else we find the very, very direct proof how Srila Prabhupada had a full faith doing Kirtan and chanting and prasad distribution. Where else we find very famous? All of you know also, but whether you are able to connect or not. When Srila Prabhupada went to America on Tompkinson Square Park, how Prabhupada started preaching there? You remember the photo or the videos? Right. Huh? Srila Prabhupada, I think sound is not coming properly. Srila Prabhupada was sitting under
Prabhuji.
that. Yeah.
Prabhuji, by doing Kirtan and giving the hippies gulab jam.
Yes. So under that tree, Prabhupada sat, or he went to the Tompkinson Square Park, and for 2-3 hours continuously, Prabhupada was just closed eyes and was chanting. He was not knowing also who is coming, going and all. And after 2-3 hours, he saw so many boys and girls have come. Right. Then he used to invite them for the program. And then people, those who came for the program, used to serve them personally the prasad after the kirtan and discussion, giving a lecture. So this is very much important. Doing kirtan and honoring Krishna Prasad. That's all auspiciousness. So that's what the opening happened here. Abhay felt confident that Bharti Bhavan would now be established as recognized as the home of the League of Devotees. He was happy to see that the opening day was not merely a private affair, but an event celebrated by the most important citizens of Jhansi. That's what Srila Prabhupada wanted, right? So that it can reach out to all the people. His past life was seeming further and further behind him each day. Right? Past life means his previous life was going far and far. his family, his business, and other things. But one day, after he had been in Jhansi about 6 months, a telegram arrived, bringing a startling reminder of his past connections. His business in Allahabad had been burglarized. His servants had stolen all his money and medicine and anything else of value. It had been a loss of 7,000 rupees. Abhay read the news, laughed, and uttered the Bhagavatam verse. Can you imagine? Right? Very, very amazing verse. That's what Prabhupada says. Yasyaham anugrunnami harishye tadhanam shanai tato adhanam tyajanti asya swajana dukkha dukkhitam. Prabhakar Mishra advised Abhay to go back to Allahabad to recover what he could. No, Abhay said, this is good for me. I was sad, but now one great attachment has come to an end. And my life is fully surrendered and dedicated to Sri Sri Radha Madhava. What a startling, how, imagine if such thing happened for the modern man. I doubt whether he will survive, or by hearing the news only he will die with heart attack. So much people have attachment and identification. So why Prabhupada could laugh? Could anyone understood? Why Prabhupada laughed after hearing the loss of his business and everything, money is gone and things? Yes.
Because he finally got rid of one very big attachment.
Yeah, sorry, got rid of one? Your voice at the end.
One of them is like biggest attachment, and his means like duty was there to take care of his family. That's why he could not means like renounce to means sannyas order and could not follow his guru's instruction. But now because means like that means all that means his business has been destroyed. So now he can finally means take sannyas, and then he can execute his guru's order.
Yeah, yes. So Prabhupada could see the hand of the Lord. Prabhupada could understood. This is a good sign for me, I think. So of course, we should not take this in what we say, okay, fine, let my business also get lost. Let me also fail into the study so that I need not to go to school anymore. Right? Or we should also, so we have to understand in a right spirit. It's not that Prabhupada irresponsibly left the things and then, right? He did his best, but then he wanted to look for immediately to settle himself to full-time serve the instruction of his spiritual master. And that's what he tried, right? In Allahabad, he kept all his things and all and made it the arrangement. And then he came to Jhansi, and on and off he used to go. But then in the period of 6 months or so, these things happen. So this is the nature of the material world. One should not feel kind of thing. So Prabhupada could brought out this amazing understanding. Why? Because he had that great desire. He had that great goals in the life to serve his spiritual master. If that is not there on the top, then this to bear, it's not possible. Right? And those days, 7,000 means how much? This is 1950s. Rupees value have gone like anything now. Those days, 7,000 means now almost it will be close to more than 10 lakhs. Almost roughly 5 to 10 lakhs easily it will be. So you see what a great loss. And Prabhupada was alone. Business is lost and gone. And Prabhupada says, this is good for me. I was sad. But now one great attachment has come to an end, and my life is fully surrendered and dedicated to Sri Sri Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a great example. That's what we began today's discussion. The great souls, the pure devotees of the Lord, they come and demonstrate. They exemplify how one should live one's life, how one should go on in one's life. Ups and downs are going to happen. Okay, so further we'll read very amazingly how further things goes on in the life of Srila Prabhupada. and what are the turning points? How Srila Prabhupada does it rise back again to settle himself, or does Srila Prabhupada continues for his mission from Jhansi further? What happens? It's very, very amazing. Now the thing starts opening up. Till now we saw Srila Prabhupada's family and then the business life, and then this was the first attempt, the League of Devotees. Now further things, how it goes, that's our next discussion. Thank you all very much for joining and giving your association. Let us end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.